Hey guys, today we're talking about the modern day Minuteman. And in order to discuss this, let's take it back to the original Minuteman and look at what that definition was. The term Minuteman comes from just prior to the American Revolution. They were volunteers, skilled at arms. They had a base of physical and martial prowess. They were able to fight in a minute. And they proved very effective, obviously, in the Revolutionary War. So what is a modern day Minuteman? Well, I would define it as a responsible armed citizen ready to not only defend our country and way of life, but be prepared and able to fight tyranny. I mean, after all, that's the real meaning of the Second Amendment. Not so we could bear arms to hunt and participate in shooting sports. I enjoy those things, and I know millions of you guys like to do it as well, but it was designed as a defense from a tyrannical government. Historically, one of the first things tyrannical governments do is take guns away from the hands of their citizens. And then the citizens become subjects unable to defend themselves. All right, let's talk about everyone's favorite topic, gear. The essential equipment necessary to be a modern-day Minuteman and the commitment to keep that gear on hand. Let's talk about guns. General Purpose Rifle, a GPR. What is it? It's a rifle for general purpose, just like I described it. A gun that can perform 10 yards to 600 yard shots accurately, consistently. It's a rifle. It's an AR style rifle, in my opinion, with an LPVO, an offset red dot, or a red dot with a flip up magnifier. We're going to talk about magnification. My opinion is magnification is mandatory. Your weapon system needs to be set up to perform in local or wide range of environments, and it's going to be what you make it. Now, think about this magnification. You may think that just because you live in an urban environment, you're not going to have to take long shots. Not necessarily so. Urban environments are not always going to be CQB, and 200 plus yard engagements may become common. Look at the war in Ukraine, for instance. What should the barrel length of your rifle be? You should be able to generate the velocity to have the terminal ballistics you need out to 600 yards. It's going to be kind of hard to do with a 10.5. I wouldn't go any shorter than a 12.5. I like my 16-inch rifle. I know that it's going to do what it needs to do. You have to have the skills to make those shots, right? By the way, we made some great content on making long-range shots. Check out that link. Maybe you might learn a little something. Suppressors. This is the Dead Air Sandman S. I love it. It's one of my favorite suppressors. Suppressors serve many different purposes. Your signature reduction allows you to stay hidden. Obviously, it protects you from hearing. Think about it. If you have an engagement and the shit hits the fan and you really got to shoot this AR-15, it's loud. You're going to lose your hearing. You're going to have nothing but tinnitus for a while. You're not going to be able to hear a thing. Sound suppression, extremely important in my opinion. What about illumination? A flashlight. Don't cheap out on those cheap flashlights from China that aren't going to get the job done. Get something with known reliability. Yes, I know there's probably something made in China on this rifle right now, but just keep that in mind. Sling. You must have a sling, in my opinion. A good sling. This is a Blue Force Gear Vickers Tactical. It's one of my favorites. There's lots of great choices out there, but think about it. A sling is like a holster for your rifle. It allows you not only to stabilize it while you're shooting it, but it allows you to keep it on your body while you're doing other things. A sling is essential in my opinion. All right, guys, what do you need to expand your capabilities? Force multiplier items, more gear. We love that gear, right? Magnification, optics for positive identification, PID as we call it. It may be on your gun, like this LPVO here. It may be something you carry, like binoculars or a separate monocular type of telescopic device. Medical. You need an IFAK, Individual First Aid Kit, at the minimum. How about extra medical for family members or other casualties? Not just to keep them alive and healthy in the fight, but to retain that manpower. You need a way of carrying ammo, right? Potentially a plate carrier, not necessary, but nice to have, obviously, to have that ballistic protection. Yes, the heavier it is, it's going to slow you down, but it also gives you a platform to put a placard on or to carry extra gear, extra magazines. Communications. This is something I think a lot of people don't think about. You need communications and the skills and knowledge to go along with those communications. Now, a good place to start is the UV5R by Baofeng, 20 bucks. It's cheap and it works. Here's a disclaimer for you: awareness of radio discipline in adverse conditions. For instance, in the war in Ukraine, using a radio in the wrong place at the wrong time can allow the enemy to RDF or directionally find your position, and in that particular conflict, it can be a costly mistake. A little training goes a long way when the shit hits the fan and your adrenaline is pumping, so know how to use that communication and use it under duress. How about finding your ranges? Do you have a good rangefinder? Do you know how to use it? Keep fresh batteries in it. Rangefinders are awesome. They serve a wide range of purposes for you, and not only can it help you range, but some rangefinders also have magnification and can help you with PID as well. Know your ballistics, your cartridge holdovers, your BDC, bullet drop compensator. Maybe you're lucky enough to have an LPVO or an optic that has those hash marks for BDC. Hopefully you do. It only works if you know your rangefinders. Let's talk about night vision and thermals. How are you going to have positive identification and advanced awareness at night or in low light situations? What about long range PID in adverse conditions? Thermals are going to allow you to identify a potential threat at a much greater distance compared to night vision, for instance. But they're expensive, and the cheaper ones are only good out to about 50 yards or so. So hopefully somebody in your squad has night vision capability somehow, some way. Let's talk about bonus awareness items like drones, for instance. They've proven very effective for recon and even assault in the Russia-Ukraine conflict and in the Middle East. How about maps? Downloadable maps to a wireless device. GPS. There's real potential for internet or GPS apps to be unavailable in these scenarios. Maybe there was an EMP. You might even want Faraday protection. You don't want to find out what you don't know when it's too late, and too late is looking sooner and sooner. Begin developing skills sooner rather than later. Now, I was an LEO on a small police department for several years as a young man. Not going to tell you how old I am, but I'm going to tell you that doesn't necessarily mean that I have the skills needed to be a modern-day Minuteman. Maybe you were lucky enough to be in the military. If so, you've had some special training, you have that advantage. Regardless, seek out opportunities to learn how to use your equipment properly. You can be an excellent marksman, but it all goes out the window if you have no cardio, if you can't run, if you're not strong enough to drag your buddy out of a bad situation. All you need is a good pair of training shoes and your own body weight to get in shape. You need to build a network of trusted, like-minded individuals. If emergency services are suspended or unavailable, your immediate current network is most likely who you are going to be reliant on. Be wise in choosing and building that network of people. You don't want them to be a liability. In the event of a catastrophic event or potential war, look at current events, guys. It's very possible that radio and telecommunications are going to be jammed or out of service. Have a plan with your family and network that works beyond modern-day current digital communications, or have hardened comms alternatively in place and ready to go. Remember, the Minutemen and soldiers of the American Revolution won our independence 247 years ago with firearms and equipment available to them at that time. And it behooves us to keep up the tradition of always being ready to defend and protect with our current equipment, maybe even on a moment's notice.